soft, turn the key and cooler on.
Good morning. It is 7:26 right now. I just woke up. My alarm went at 7:15 and I recently got a wake-up light. And the wake-up light has made my mornings so much better because I don't snooze. Because I don't fall back asleep after my alarm has gone off, but I can close my eyes without falling asleep. So my alarm went off at 7:15 and I turned it off, but then the light is like fully on, so I can just take a minute to wake up. But because it's light in my room, I don't fall back asleep, but I don't have to like immediately get up. I can take a minute and just like wake up naturally, which has been really, really nice. And because of this, because I actually like immediately wake up when my alarm goes off instead of like snoozing for 30 minutes, which I used to do like religiously. I was such a big snoozer, and this has been the only thing that makes me not snooze. But since I'm not snoozing, I have leftover time in my morning. And for the past couple of weeks, especially since it's still dark when I'm waking up, I have been staying in bed with my book and a cup of coffee. This morning, my boyfriend woke up before me because he has to go into the office. So he made me a very delicious cup of coffee. And I am reading Kingdom of Ash, the last book of the Throne of Glass series. And I am obsessed with it. I've been complaining about the Throne of Glass series a lot since I started reading it because the first 50% of pretty much every single book of this series was very boring, and then in the end it got really interesting, but it took so long to get to the interesting part. However, this book is almost 1,000 pages and I was hooked from page 1, and I'm having so much fun reading this book. So I've been just staying in bed with my cup of coffee and reading. My phone is off, I'm not checking anything yet, and I have like a half an hour, maybe even a little bit more, to just relax here. I'm gonna enjoy my cup of coffee and I'm gonna enjoy my book, and then we'll get on with my day. Oh, also, I do chug water first thing. So when I wake up, when my alarm goes off, I immediately grab my water bottle and drink a bunch of water. So I make sure that I have some water before I drink my coffee.
Free pass, you don't even have to ask to be the cat in the sun. Someday I will see the whole deal through. Today I've got better things to do. Okay, to leave a little bit undone and be the cat in the sun. Be the cat in the sun. Set aside every empty spreadsheet line and loosen up on the grind. Simmer down, settle back and
It's a little while later. I read my book in bed, had my coffee, and then I got up and did my skincare, brushed my teeth, and I have now made breakfast. I am not a big breakfast person. I've actually struggled with eating breakfast for most of my life. I just don't wake up hungry, and I cannot really force myself to eat something in the morning, but I know it's better if I do eat in the morning. So I try whenever I can to eat something. And I also try to not be too strict about what I'm eating, because I've noticed that if there's something that I'm excited to eat, even though it's not the best breakfast, then that's better than eating nothing. So for example, right now I have these waffles that I had in the freezer with some Nutella. And obviously that's not the best, like most nutritious breakfast, but I'm happy that I wanted to eat something, because most days I struggle with just eating anything. So I have 2 waffles. I am going to continue reading my book for a little bit more, and then I'm going to get dressed and start work. desk. It's 9 right now. I just got dressed. And I wanted to mention that, firstly, this is a morning and night routine in the only definition that I try to do this as often as I can. I very often just get out of bed, have 5 minutes to get ready, and then go to my desk or leave to go to work. But this is what I do when I have the time and the discipline to actually make time for it. Because this is the morning that makes me feel the best. And one of those things is also getting dressed. You just saw me change from my pajamas into a very comfortable outfit. I'm not trying to look super cute, but I am trying to get myself in a different headspace than my sleeping headspace. Because in the past, I very often just put on a sweater over my pajamas and started working, and then didn't get ready until a few hours later because my head was very full with all the things that I had to do. So I would just get up, immediately go to my desk, do all the things that were most on the top of my mind, and then around lunchtime I would shower, get dressed, and eat something for the first time. But obviously, taking the time in the morning to actually get yourself ready for a workday makes everything a lot more fun, and also just makes you feel a lot better. So I've been very strict about not working in my pajamas and just changing into an outfit. Whenever I work from home, I do wear very comfortable things, but I don't think that's a bad thing, but they are clothes that I can go outside in. I am wearing just regular pants, a regular shirt, and if I decide to go on a walk later, I don't have to change. Anyway, it's 9 right now, which means it is time to start the workday. And there is some morning routine things that I do as the start of my workday as well. Firstly, I have this little part of my Notion page that has start of day, and it has 4 things that I want to do every single day before I start my work. Firstly, I do gratitude and intention. I love just taking a second to think about, okay, what am I grateful for right now, but also what is my intention for today? Do I want to take it easy, or do I want to grind and get a lot done, or how am I feeling and what can I ask of myself today? And then I spend the first few minutes of my workday answering emails and answering texts. I'm making sure all of my inboxes are empty because I am pretty good at replying to things that are urgent right away, but I am really bad at replying to things that are not urgent. And right now I have 10 open texts on my phone and I think 5 emails that are not urgent, but I'm not getting to them. So I've made it a habit to every single morning do that as the first thing. And then I start to make my to-do list. Today is Monday, so I'm gonna make a to-do list for the whole week. Think about all of the things that I have to do, plan it out, and then I divide it up between the days. And I also check my calendar if I have any plans during the week. And also today is the first Monday of the new month. It's February 3rd right now. And that means I'm choosing a new habit for the month because every single month I choose one habit that I focus on, and I usually do that the first Monday of that month. Last month, I tried to run at least once a week, every single week, and I did that. So this month, I'm going to try something different. Let's see.
Break the cycle. Why are you staring at the door like I'm in the way? If you're leaving, that's fine, but don't forget your pride, 'cause I'm just trying to break this cycle. Are you?
Alright, I've chosen my goal for this month. I have made my to-do list, checked my email, answered all the texts, and now it is time to actually start work. Monday morning is always my favorite when it comes to reading my emails because I am subscribed to a bunch of Substack newsletters, and most of those come out on Saturday or Sunday, and I usually read all of them on Monday morning. So that is just an easy way to ease back into the work week. It feels productive, but technically it's not really work related, but it is very fun, and I think that's a really great way to start my week. This morning I read one by Jeanette Winterson. I subscribed to her this week, so this was my first newsletter by her. And I also love the one from Notes On by Hannah Hannah Connolly, I think. Those are currently some of my favorite Substacks to read. If you don't know, I also have my own Substack where I share some of my writing. So if you're interested in reading that, you can click the link in the description. I write about a bunch of things that I also talk about in my videos, but I feel like in my writing I can just add more nuance and I can share my thoughts a little bit more clearer. It's easier to like deep dive into one specific subject when I write about it. So currently my Substack is still free to read, but I might make it paid in a little while. So if you want to read it for free, you can subscribe now. And maybe you can add reading my newsletter to your Monday morning ritual. Anyway, I have loads to do, so I'm going to start my workday and then I will talk to you at the end of the day for my night routine. Hello, it is the end of the workday. It is 6 right now. I just finished up the last little bit of work. I actually wanted to stop a little bit earlier today because I'm working out today. And usually if I work out, I try to stop around 5 so I can go to the gym when it's not super busy yet. However, I had some work to finish, so I did not stop at 5. However, it's fine. Sometimes if I go to the gym at this time, I have to wait for a little bit for a treadmill to open up, but it's not that bad. So I'm going on a run. Yesterday I had my best run yet. Last week in my video I complained that I wasn't seeing as much progress in my running as I was hoping, because that week I just had 2 really bad runs. But then yesterday I had a really successful run and I actually ran the most distance I've ever ran without needing to walk in between. I usually run on Monday and Friday. However, this Friday, like last Friday, I couldn't run. So I did it on Sunday instead. So I don't usually run 2 days in a row, but since last week didn't really work out the way I wanted it to, I am going on a run, even though I ran yesterday. Anyway, my point is, I don't run every single day, but I am going to run right now and I am going to change and then go to the gym. Just for the record, I am really not excited to go.
Are you hearing my words?
Big surprise, but I'm glad I
Saying
went.
to you,
Hello, welcome to my kitchen. I just got back from my workout. It was not my best run ever, but it was fine. My cat is about to get fed, so if you hear screaming, it's just he has to wait a little bit. It's almost dinner time. Anyway, it's dinner time for me as well, because usually I would shower first and then make dinner, but it is 7:30 right now, which is so much later than I usually get home from the gym. So I'm starving. I need to eat. And I'm gonna make a very delicious pasta. It's really easy. It is just tomato paste and some heavy cream. I have like almost a kilo of cherry tomatoes. I need to use a bunch up. I also have some burrata, so I can put that on top. I'm really excited to eat that. This afternoon during my lunch break, I made some bagel dough. I made bagels in my last reading vlog, I think, and they were delicious. So I made some more. I need to shape them and then let them rest for an hour. So I'm gonna shape them while my pasta is boiling and my sauce is thickening, and then they can rise while I eat, and then I can finish baking the bagels tonight. I am so tired, but in a good way. I always feel like whenever I have a day of working at home, I need to go outside at some point during the day. Like I will either go for a walk, or I will go to a coffee shop or a library to work, or I will go to the gym. And just like the exhaustion of having used your body is so different than just being tired in your mind. Like after a work day, I'm tired because I have like used my brain a lot during the day, but usually I've just sat at my desk all day, so I'm not physically tired. And I really like the feeling of also being physically tired, because it makes it so much easier to relax. Because if I'm only my brain is tired but my body isn't, I feel kind of restless, because I feel like I still have a lot of energy, but I just don't have the headspace for it. And it doesn't always mean a workout. Sometimes that means like a 5-minute walk, or just like a dance party in my house. But I always try to find a way to use up like my physical energy as well. Anyway, let's make some pasta. My pasta is ready to eat. I made a little bit too much sauce, so it's a little bit soupy, but honestly, the sauce is my favorite part, so I don't mind. And while I eat, I'm going to read my book. I would usually watch a show, especially when my boyfriend is here, but I'm alone tonight and I'm excited to read. So I'm going to use my handy dandy e-reader holder so I can eat and read at the same time. And I'm super hungry. It is 8 right now, and I usually try to eat around like 6:30. So I'm very excited to eat this pasta. Hours later, I had my dinner and then my boyfriend came home. So we watched some YouTube videos together. I made a cup of tea. I usually divide my evenings in like hobby time and winding down time because I have a lot of things that I like to do in my life. I have a lot of hobbies and things that I enjoy. So I try to divide them in categories of like how relaxed I get from them, at least for my evening routine. I want to make sure that about an hour before I go to sleep, I start winding down. So I try to put away my phone, and if I do something like play Stardew Valley, for example, in the evening, then I try to stop for like the last hour-ish before I go to bed, just so I have proper time to get into like a sleepy zone. Today, because I went on a run, my evening has been a little bit later than usual, so I don't have as much time as I would usually have, and what I do in my evenings really depends on the day. Like every single day is different. Me and my boyfriend have been obsessed with this Dutch TV show for the past couple of weeks. So usually every night we just spent sitting on the couch watching that show. Every episode is an hour, but it takes us like an hour and a half to get through it because we keep pausing and having to talk about what's happening. It's really fun, but tomorrow is actually the last episode, so we're a little bit sad about that. But yes, this morning I talked about how I have a goal for each month and I try to focus on a habit every single month. And this month I wanted to get back into journaling because I love journaling, but I get through phases of doing it like either every single day or just not at all. And it has been months since I journaled regularly, which is fine, but I think it's fun to focus on it this month so I get back into the habit, because I know that once I am in the habit, it's something that I really enjoy. It feels very mindful. It's a very mindful hobby. It's something that really can empty my head, which is very nice. So tonight I am going to journal for a little bit. I don't really have any like junk journal things to add, so I think I might look up like a doodle. I've been seeing a bunch of different videos on TikTok from this one creator who makes like patterns in her journal, and she just makes a shape and then follows that shape for like a bunch of times until her page is full. And it's very simple, but it looks so relaxing. So I'm either gonna put on my audiobook or maybe a video in the background and journal for a while and also drink my cup of tea. So I'm really excited. That was so nice to do. I spent about 15 minutes listening to a podcast and just doodling. And this is your reminder that anything you put in your art journal does not have to be pretty or fancy or show a lot of skill. One of my favorite ways to use my journal is to just create something to get out of my head. And very often that is something that does not take a lot of brain power to do. It's either just pasting in a bunch of things that I found or writing down quotes that I saw on Pinterest or doing something like this where I just take a shape and I draw it like a million times and it turns into something different. And sometimes it looks really pretty and sometimes it just looks like a bunch of weird lines, and either way is fine because it helps me feel very relaxed and very at ease. I am feeling very tired right now, but there is something that I try to do every night, which is something that I'm working on, but if I do it, it makes me feel so much better. And that is basically the same thing I do in my Notion in the morning, but then at night. So I end the day with gratitude. I make a to-do list for tomorrow. And I also, again, check my emails and check my texts. This just makes me feel very prepared for tomorrow and also makes me feel like I've actually ended my day in a way instead of just going on to the next thing. And that also means that when I wake up tomorrow, I actually know what I have to do and I'm not just either procrastinating because I'm like, I don't really want to look at my to-do list and see all the things that I have to do, or I'm like, I don't think I have anything to do. And then I wait a long time until I start work. And then in the afternoon, I get stressed out because I didn't realize that I had a deadline. And also ending my day with gratitude just makes me feel very appreciative of the day that I've had. So today, I think the thing I'm grateful for is I had this realization the other day, which sounds a little bit strange maybe, but I just sat on my couch and I was like, this is my life. I've been thinking a lot lately about how I spend my time and what I'm doing in terms of my job and if it's making me happy and if I want to make any changes and if I want to apply for other jobs or if I want to make a career switch, or just like so many thoughts of things that I have to do or accomplish or reach for. I just had this realization where I was like, all of these moments are actually my life. Like, it doesn't matter what job I have if I'm not appreciating the fact that I'm sitting on my couch right now with my cat and a lovely cup of tea and the sun is shining through my window. And the way you react to the small things in life is actually what determines how happy you are and not like how you spend your time. Obviously, if you're working a job that you hate, then that's really gonna impact that. But I think for me right now, trying to decide all of these big things, having this thought of like my happiness comes from a million small things and not just one thing is very helpful because it takes away a lot of the pressure that I feel. So I've been a lot more mindful every single day about all of the small things that make me smile or make me happy. Like today, I was listening to the radio and a song that I hadn't heard in ages came on and it was so fun to listen to. Also, it was sunny in my house and I have a disco ball. Like, it's a candle holder, but it's shaped like a disco ball, or it's shaped like a pumpkin, but it's decorated as a disco ball. It has a bunch of mirrors is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the light was shining on it and my whole living room was like showered in these tiny little light dots and it just looked so pretty. And I was working here and I looked up and I just saw all of these lights. And also, just as I was journaling, my boyfriend came in with one of my bagels that I had made because he had asked me if he could taste one. And I was like, yes, but I also want a bite because I want to know if they taste any good. He was like, oh my God, they're so good. Making something from scratch and then having someone you love appreciate it and be happy with it and like the taste of it, it's just really special to me. I think I can think of a million more things, but I'm also just noticing right now, like, it makes me feel so good to think about this and to not only notice them in the moment, because that's something I've been trying to do, is like in the moment more notice like, oh, this is one of those moments that make me feel happy, but also looking back on it in the evening. And even though maybe in the past I would have just been like, it's been a normal day. I did the tasks that I had to do. I did my work. I worked from home. It wasn't any special. I went to the gym. I had some pasta, a basic day. But just taking the time to think about the tiny things that made this day special, even though I might not remember them next week, that is what is making me feel happy right now. And that is that's my only goal in life. Like, I just want to feel happy every day. And obviously that's not possible. Like, there's gonna be days where I feel bad, but my goal is to just feel happy as often as I can. And if just having like a pumpkin disco ball candle holder that catches the light and shines in my living room is enough to make me feel happy for even a second, then it doesn't really matter what happens the rest of the day, because at least I felt happy for that 1 second. Without making it too like toxic positivity, because if I'm honest, I have been struggling quite a bit in the past few months. I've made some big decisions in terms of my career and changing up certain things of my life and letting go of certain things in my career, and I think it's definitely for the best, but it has been a little bit rough, and I think these tiny things really help in these situations. I'm writing a whole Substack letter on this subject, which is why it's on my mind so much. But anyway, I'm gonna write down in my gratitude little box that I am happy that I allow tiny things to make me happy. Because I think, in a way, sometimes you don't allow yourself to feel those things. All right, I'm quickly going to check my emails, my texts, and make a to-do list for tomorrow, and then we're gonna get ready for bed. Alright, it's past 11 right now. I took a shower, did my skincare, brushed my teeth, did all the things for the wind down part of my night. And one of the things that I love to include as well is reading. I obviously love to read, so I add that to any part of my day that I can. So I will probably read a few pages, not too many because I'm very tired. And the last little thing that I wanted to add to this video, especially for the winding down part of your night, is to slow down. I've recently noticed that even in the things that I do to help me calm, I do them like very frantically or very quickly. Like for example, I will be taking like a long nice shower, but then I'm like frantically washing my hair or very aggressively putting on my moisturizer. And I think just noticing those things and slowing them down and taking 15 more seconds to apply my moisturizer makes my body more relaxed. I've also quickly tidied my workspace and a few things in my living room just to reset for the day. And now it is time to sleep. So thank you so much for spending this time with me. Thank you for spending both my morning and my night. I hope you got inspired in any way or you saw something that inspired you. And I hope you also have mornings and nights that you love. You don't have to do all the things that I do. Please don't do all the things that I do, but just taking some time for you in the morning and at night and making a routine that makes you feel prepared for the day and ready and relaxed for the night is really helpful and really improved my life. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you want to, you can subscribe down below. If you want to support my writing, you can subscribe to my Substack. The link is in the description, and I will hopefully see you again next week. Good night.